39. The yeas are 179. The previous question is ordered. The question is on adoption of the resolution. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Gentlelady from New York.
Sir, on that I request the yeas and nays.
Yeas and nays are requested. That those favoring a vote by the yeas and nays will rise and remain standing. A sufficient number having arisen. The yeas and nays are ordered. Members will record their votes on electronic devices. This will be a 5-minute vote.
The House moves on to a vote on the rule for consideration of fiscal year 2012 spending, which will be broken down into 3 separate packages, and more about that in just a moment. Dan Friedman of National Journal writing well into the night last night about the discussions on 2012 spending. Senate Democrats finally agreed to sign the omnibus conference report last night. What broke the logjam?
I think one general thing and one specific thing, or a few specific things. Specifically, there had been lack of agreement, at least by the White House and Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, to some of the policy riders on the bill. House Republicans agreed to change language related to travel to Cuba and gifts between former Cuban or family members of Cubans. And that was kind of the specific breakthrough, and there were some other policy riders that needed to be resolved. But more generally, I think the fact that the Senate felt they were moving toward a deal on a year-long extension of the current employee payroll tax rate, unemployment benefits, and some extension of unemployment benefits and the so-called doc fix, preventing physicians who accept Medicare from taking a pay cut, was probably the main thing that allowed a deal on the omnibus.
Well, this bill that this package that the House will be taking up and later the Senate, a 9-bill spending package, what's in it and how much does it cost?
It complies with this summer's Budget Control Act and the agreement that allowed the debt ceiling to be raised. So that's the top line number of $1.043 trillion, in addition to disaster aid funding, which will be on top of that. So that will still be a reduction from last year if you don't count the disaster aid, and that will fund all of the government with the exception of 3 components: annual spending bills, agriculture, commerce, justice, science, and transportation and HUD. I think that passed separately earlier this year.
Well, it seemed like in the earlier debate on this that certainly there was seemed to be some Democratic opposition to the bill over some of the policy riders, the light bulbs, things like abortion. So on final passage, how much support will the conference report get, and where's that going to come from?
It will get enough to pass, and it will come from Republicans. I would hesitate to guess specifically how many votes there'll be, but there'll be adequate votes. There'll need to be votes from both Democrats and Republicans in the House and Senate. I think that there's probably more unhappiness, particularly among House Democrats, to some of the provisions, but not a level that would endanger passage of the bill.
Does an afternoon passage by the House today mean that we'll see it passed in the Senate this evening?
It sounds more likely the Senate will pass it on Saturday, and Reid and Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell on the Senate floor earlier had a colloquy where they explained that the administration has said that even though the funding bill will not be passed by the midnight expiration of the current continuing resolution, they won't do that as a stoppage, and so the government will continue operating.
You mentioned that in general there seems to be some consensus that an agreement is near on the payroll tax extenders package, yet Speaker Boehner seemed fairly adamant this morning that he wanted to see the Keystone Pipeline provisions remain attached to that payroll tax extension. What's going to happen there?
It's not clear right now. Senate Democrats don't want to include Keystone, as well as the so-called Boilermatic provision in that bill. And they're the ones who are primarily writing the bill, although they're writing the bill in a way that is intended to pick up Senate Republican votes. Senate Minority Leader McConnell very much wants the Keystone language in the bill. So it's tough to say. I think one possibility is they could include Keystone language that is somewhat less restrictive than the already not that restrictive Keystone language that is in the version of the legislation that the House passed. So they could give the administration more leeway to ignore the requirement to reach a decision within 60 days or to put off a decision.
But either way, it does look like the House and the Senate will have to come back next week to finish up work on this, right?
Yes, it sounds like the Senate could finish Saturday, both payroll, if they get a deal, and the omnibus bill. But then the House would have to come in at some point next week to vote on the payroll tax, since the Senate version will be different than the version that the House has passed.
Lots to cover there. Dan Friedman with National Journal Daily. You can read his work at nationaljournal.com. Thanks for the update.
Thank you.
Vote, the yeas are 251, the nays are 163.
Mr. Courtney. Mr. Welch. Mr. Welch votes no. Mr. McKeon. Mr. McKeon votes aye.
For 252, the nays are 164. The resolution is adopted, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table. The unfinished business is the vote on the motion of the gentleman from Michigan, Mr. Rogers, to suspend the rules and concur in the Senate Amendment H.R. 1892, on which the yeas and nays are ordered. The clerk will report the title of the bill.
H.R. 1892, an act to authorize appropriations for fiscal year 2012 for intelligence and intelligence-related activities of the United States government, the Community Management Account, and the Central Intelligence Agency Retirement and Disability System, and for other purposes.
Question is, will the House suspend the rules and concur in the Senate amendment? Members will record their votes by electronic device. This will be a 5-minute vote.
The House has approved the rule for finishing up work on 2012 spending ahead about 2 hours and 20 minutes or so, 2.5 hours of debate, and it'll be broken down into 3 separate areas. They will debate, part of this is the remaining spending for 2012, 9 separate appropriations bills, 9 regular appropriations bills, $915 billion in discretionary spending. And as part of that, 2 other measures, both of them dealing with disaster funding. One provides $8.1 billion in 2012 disaster funding. The second, a resolution, would offset the cost of disaster funding by adding language to the disaster bill before sending it to the President, which makes across-the-board rescissions of 1.8% to discretionary accounts in most of the 2012 spending bills. So that's ahead. This is a 5-minute vote here on the Intelligence Authorization Bill for fiscal year 2012, passed in the Senate yesterday.
Yeas are 393. The yeas are 23, two-thirds being in the affirmative. The rules are suspended. The Senate...
Ms. DeLauro. Ms. DeLauro votes aye.
On this vote, the yeas are 394. The nays...
Mr. Crowley. Mr. Crowley votes aye. Ms. Linda T. Sanchez of California. Ms. Linda T. Sanchez of California votes aye. Mr. Roybacher. Mr. Roybacher voted aye.
The yeas are 396, the nays are 23, two-thirds being in the affirmative. The rules are suspended, the Senate amended is agreed to, and without objection, the motion reconsider is laid upon the table. The unfinished business is the question on suspending the rules and passing S-278 as amended, which the clerk will report by title.
Senate 278, an act to provide for the exchange of certain land located in the Arapahoe Roosevelt National Forest in the state of Colorado and for other purposes.
Question is, will the House suspend the rules and pass the bill as amended? So many as in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. In the opinion of the chair, two-thirds being in the affirmative.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman from Washington.
Order the yeas and nays.
Requested. Those
Recorded vote.
Those recorded vote will rise. A sufficient number having arisen. A recorded vote is ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This will be a 5-minute vote.
Last vote in this series, a bill dealing with federal lands, debated earlier this week. Well, with temporary federal spending ending at midnight tonight, the House next will move on to about 2.5 hours of debate on 2012 spending and disaster relief. That is ahead. Capitol Hill, C-SPAN Capitol Hill producer Annie Ten tweets that Speaker Boehner says the House has done its work. They plan to send lawmakers home for the weekend back next week to act on year-end tax package if needed. She's talking about the payroll tax cut extension package. Earlier today at a briefing, Speaker Boehner said, quote, I guarantee that the Keystone Pipeline will be in there when it goes back to the United States Senate. We're going to show you Speaker Boehner's briefing during this last vote in the series.
The House today will vote on a conference report to fund our government for the balance of this fiscal year through September 30th. Bill's been put together in a bipartisan, bicameral fashion, and I'm going to thank Chairman Rogers and the appropriators for really starting the process, restarting the process, if you will, of building an appropriation process around here that works. I'm not going to describe it as perfect, but certainly a process that we haven't seen for a number of years. This will mark, for the second year in a row, that we will spend less money on the operation of our government 2 consecutive years that we've cut spending. We also take steps in this bill to stop some of the excessive regulations that are harming our economy. And for the first time in modern history, there are no earmarks in this bill. And so I'm grateful that we were able to come to this point. We still have more work to do on the jobs bill if the Senate acts. But the House will do its work today. The members will go home. And if there's a need to come back to finish our work, we will do so. Questions?
Speaker Boehner, what's your message to middle-class families about the future of the payroll tax cut extension? Will it be a 2-month carryover, or what should families expect by January 1st?
The House has done its work. We're waiting on the United States Senate. But these rumors that are floating around here about a 2-month extension, I'll just say this. If that bill comes over to us, we will make changes to it, and I will guarantee you that the Keystone Pipeline will be in there when it goes back to the United States Senate.
Mr. Speaker, what do you think of a 2-month extension for the payroll tax cut?
I just gave you an answer. How much clearer could I be?
Would those changes be to extend it?
Pardon me?
Would those changes be to dealing with the 2-month time frame in addition to...
All I'm going to tell you is we will make changes to that bill, and I'll guarantee you the Keystone Pipeline will be in the bill when it goes back to the United States Senate.
Let me put it another way. If you had the Keystone Pipeline, is 2 months enough for you?
We will make changes to the bill, and one of those changes will include the Keystone Pipeline being in there. Thanks.
Speaker Boehner, from this morning we also covered Democratic leaders speaking with reporters, and both of those are available in our video library at cspan.org. The House is wrapping up a vote, last of a series of votes, and they will move on to debate on 2012 spending and also a couple of measures dealing with disaster relief.
Yeas are 413. The nays are 0. 2/3 being in the affirmative. The rules are suspended. The bill is passed, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table. House will be in order. Will members take their conversations off the floor? For what purpose does the gentleman from Kentucky seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that all members may have 5 legislative days in which to revise and extend their remarks and include extraneous material on the conference report on H.R. 2055, H. Res. 94, and H.R. 3672, and that I may include tabular material on the same.
Without objection. Clerk will report the purposes the gentleman from Kentucky seek recognition.
Mr. Speaker, pursuant to House Resolution 500, I call up the conference report to accompany the bill H.R. 2055, a bill making appropriations for military construction, the Department of Veterans Affairs, and related agencies for the fiscal year ending September 30, 2012, and for other purposes and for its immediate consideration.
Clerk will report the title of the bill.
H.R. 2055, an act making appropriations for military construction, the Department of Veterans Affairs, and related agencies for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2012, and for other purposes.
Pursuant to House Resolution 500, the conference report is considered read. The gentleman from Kentucky, Mr. Rogers, and the gentleman from Washington, Mr. Dix, each will control 30 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Kentucky.
May we have order, Mr.
Yes,
Speaker?
House will be in order. The gentleman from Kentucky.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to present the final fiscal year 2012 appropriations legislation, which includes the conference report for the remaining 9 appropriations bills, as well as 2 other bills we will consider later that provide funding for disaster recovery and assistance. For the second year in a row, Mr. Speaker, the Appropriations Committee, along with the body, has achieved significant reductions in federal government spending to the tune of some $95 billion in reduced spending. Never before in recent history has Congress cut spending 2 years back to back. The Republican majority is truly living up to our commitment to slice federal spending, getting our budgets back into balance, and living within our means. The legislation also includes absolutely no earmarks, 0 earmarks, abiding by the House rule. This report and the disaster aid spending package signify the end of the road for the fiscal year 2012 appropriations cycle, helping to avoid a potential government shutdown and supporting vital programs and services the American people rely on. In particular, Mr. Speaker, this bill provides funding necessary to support our national security, including funding for our military engagements abroad and our domestic obligations, benefits, and programs for our veterans, active military and their families, and homeland security efforts to keep our borders and communities safe and sound. In addition, this legislation includes policy provisions targeted at reining in harmful government interference and protecting life, liberty, and the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, after weeks of arduous negotiations on this package with our Senate counterparts, we've struck a fair bipartisan compromise. No party got everything they wanted, but we have found a reasonable, responsible balance between reduced spending, wise federal investments, and policy changes that American businesses need to thrive. With Christmas coming on, it's time we complete this important legislation and go home to our families and our friends. We don't have much downtime before our work will begin again on fiscal year 2013. And I'm hopeful that with the groundwork we've laid this year, cleaning up past year's messes, clearing the table for next year when we can bring these bills separately and individually to the floor for our members to debate, amend, and vote on. That's the goal. So I'm hopeful with the groundwork we've laid this year, we'll be able to work through next year's appropriations legislation in regular order, and most importantly, on time, so that we don't find ourselves in this situation next December. One last note, Mr. Speaker, this result today would not have happened without the goodwill and the good work of the committee's ranking member, Mr. Dix, who's been a great partner throughout this process. While things have been difficult and we haven't always seen eye to eye, his knowledge of the process and his commitment to a fair and positive outcome have been a huge asset. His leadership has been critical to the bills we've passed and certainly the one before us today. And along with Mr. Dix, I must thank the Cardinals and the ranking members of the subcommittees to whom we turned to produce this bill that's before us today. Chairman Young, Ranking Member Dix on defense, Chairman Frelinghuysen and Ranking Member Visclosky on energy and water, Chairwoman Emerson and Ranking Member Serrano on financial services, Chairman Adderholt, Ranking Member Price on Homeland Security, Chairman Simpson, Ranking Member Moran on Interior, Chairman Rehberg, Ranking Member DeLauro on Labor HHS, Chairman Crenshaw, Ranking Member Honda on Legislative Branch, Chairman Culberson, Ranking Member Bishop on MilCon, and Chairwoman Granger and Ranking Member Lowy on State and Foreign Operations. They worked through these bills with a sharp eye and a respect for the taxpayer and the programs that they dealt with. Time and again, Mr. Speaker, throughout this year, we faced difficult and arduous tasks head-on, met every challenge before us. And without the leadership of these subcommittee chairmen and ranking members, we would not be here today. They made up the package that's before us today. Finally, I want to thank the staff, both sides of the aisle, majority and minority. Hard work this year beyond anything that I've ever seen. It's been a tough year. With H.R. 1 in the spring that took so much time and effort, 500-plus amendments, and then 150 hearings that our subcommittees have conducted, making up this year's appropriations bills. And then after that, the effort that took place on the debt ceiling increase and the time and distraction that it took from the rest of the work we were doing. And then finally, the concoction and the makeup of this bill before us today. It has been a long, tough year. We have appropriated in 1 year for 2 years, both for 11 and now for 12, all in 1 year, in order to get us back to where we can go on regular order next year. So the staff has been absolutely arduous and dedicated, week in, week out, day in and day out, night after night, holidays included. They've just been terrific. And I want to thank our staffs on the committee, both sides, for all the hard work that has taken place. Bill Ingley, the chief clerk on the committee, and David on your side, Mr. Dix, what a terrific team that we have backing us up. And so we're deeply indebted to these wonderful staff workers for us that have us where we are. Finally, I want to say this. Today is sort of a special day, Mr. Speaker, for any number of reasons. I think we're going to wind up with a good bill here that will get the appropriations process over with finally for this year. But it's also a very special day for two members who are on the floor with us this very minute. One of them is my ranking member, Mr. Dix, who's celebrating a birthday today. And also, yes, happy birthday. And also, Another gentleman is celebrating a birthday today, and that's Mr. Bill Young, the chairman of the Defense Subcommittee. Happy birthday, Mr. Chairman. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I reserve the balance.
Gentleman reserves. Gentleman from Washington.
I yield myself 2 minutes. Mr. Speaker, the conference report before us contains 9 separate bills: Defense, Energy and Water, Financial Services, Homeland Security, Interior, Labor, HHS, and Education, Legislative Branch, Military Construction and VA, and State Foreign Operation. It is a bipartisan agreement reached after many hours of deliberation and debate. It reflects the fact that neither party can pass this bill on its own in either the House or the Senate. The conference report is a remarkable product of the hard work of all members of the Appropriations Committee, and as the chairman mentioned, especially the ranking members and the cardinals, the chairman of the subcommittees. And I especially want to congratulate the staff. I was a staff person myself, and as the chairman has said, I have never seen people work harder than the staff on the House Appropriations Committee, and I want to commend Bill Engley and David Pomerantz for their work all during this year, their cooperation, which was, and their leadership of the staff. And we have a great staff. I mean, you know, these people have enormous experience, they have great background, and we're proud of all of them. And I also want to congratulate Bill Young, my chairman on the Defense Subcommittee, former chairman of the full committee. We've been good friends, and I want to wish him a happy birthday. And it's kind of ironic that here we are on the last day getting this big bill passed on both of our birthdays. So there's somebody smiled on us. Maybe it was the other body by slowing things down, but anyway, I want to yield back my time. We're going to have our ranking members present their statements after the chairman on the other side. And I yield back my time. I want to thank Mr. Rogers again for all of his courtesy and his great work. He had to have the patience of Job in order to get this thing done, but he did it, and I commend him for his...
Gentleman's time has expired, but I'm assuming you're reserving your time?
I give myself 15 seconds. I just want to commend him for his patience and his determination, and next year we're going to get all 12 bills to the floor.
Gentleman reserves.
And I reserve the balance of my time.
Thank you. Gentleman from Kentucky.
I thank the gentleman for his words. I yield, Mr. Speaker, 3 minutes to the chairman of the Defense Appropriations Subcommittee, Mr. Young of Florida.
Gentleman from Florida is recognized.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the gentleman, the chairman, for yielding the time. It's not really adequate to explain this bill, this defense bill, which is the largest part of this minibus, omnibus, or call it what you will. But thank you, Chairman Rogers, especially for bringing back regular order in the appropriations process, which we haven't done for a while. You've done a really great job in leading this committee to get this job done. And to my friend Mr. Dix, I've already wished him personally a happy birthday. But Norman, we appreciate, Mr. Speaker, we appreciate Mr. Dix's relationship with the Congress, with our subcommittee, with the full committee. Together they've made a great team. They've done a good job. This, as I said, the defense bill is the biggest part of this bill. It is actually $21 billion less than was requested in the budget. We were given a number. We were instructed to make reductions. This subcommittee, the members and the staff, worked diligently to make sure that any reductions that we had to make would not affect the readiness of our nation or would not adversely affect any of our troops. We successfully concluded that task. We kept our commitment to maintain readiness and to remain strong in the support of our troops. It makes me feel good that we have an agreement that was agreed upon by the Republicans and the Democrats in the House, and the Republicans and the Democrats in the Senate. We won't get a unanimous vote on this package at all, but we work together. You know, people have wondered, and I'm sure all of us have been asked by our constituents, why can't you guys in Congress work together and get things done? Well, you know, when Congress acts as a Congress and avoids a lot of outside political influence, it's amazing what we can do. And I just would call attention to the fact we just concluded the intelligence bill, bipartisan basis. We did the National Defense Authorization Act last week on a bipartisan basis. This omnibus bill that we will pass today on a bipartisan basis. We worked together and we got things done when we were able to work as a Congress. So I'm very happy to be supportive of especially the defense part of this bill. And again, I want to congratulate Chairman Rogers and Chairman Ranking Member Dix for their strong leadership in getting us back to the regular order. And as Mr. Dix said, next year we're going to do all the appropriations bills one at a time, just like it's supposed to be done. With that, Mr. Speaker, there is so much more to talk about this bill, so many details. We have written copies of a report on what it does and what it doesn't do, and we'll be happy to provide that for any member who asks. But other than that, let's vote for this package and let's get our job done. And I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas, and hopefully I won't have to wish you Happy New Year's until after we come back next year. We'll see how that is. But anyway, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and I yield back my time.
Gentleman from Washington.
Mr. Speaker, the Department of Defense appropriations bill is part of this package. This bill includes base funding. I yield myself as much time as I may need.
Thank you. This gentleman is recognized.
Includes base funding of $518 billion, a reduction of $21 billion below the President's budget request. The bill also provides $115 billion for overseas contingency operations, $2.8 billion below the budget request. The bill balances funding essential for U.S. troops and their families with readiness, weapons acquisition, and technology development. For military personnel and family programs, the bill includes full funding of the military pay accounts, including a 1.6% pay raise for our troops. For community support programs, the bill includes $40 million above the request for impact aid and $250 million to replace inadequate schools located on DoD bases that are owned and operated by our local educational authorities and the U.S. Department of Education. For readiness, the bill includes $163 billion for operations and maintenance. With this account, the bill includes $150 million above the request for ship depot maintenance and $34 million to fully fund the Reserve Officers Training Corps program. For procurement and research programs, the bill includes $255 million to prevent the shutdown of the M1 tank production, $1 billion for National Guard and Reserve equipment, $200 million for rapid innovation funding, $230 million to procure equipment needed to enhance special operations, $130 million above the request for ongoing cooperative missile defense programs with Israel, and $100 million above the request to mature technologies for the next generation bomber. For overseas contingencies, the bill includes $115 billion, $2.8 billion below the request, and $43 billion below the 2011. The decline compared to last year reflects the withdrawal of U.S. troops from Iraq. The bill provides for the withdrawal of U.S. personnel from Iraq by the end of this month, operation of U.S. forces in Afghanistan, programs to train and equip Afghan security forces so they're capable of assuming security responsibility. This bill is essential to maintain the readiness and capabilities of U.S. forces. It provides for the need of our men and women in uniform and their families. The bill also includes responsible reductions from the budget request, recognizing the fiscal realities that our nation faces. This is a must-pass bill which I support. I commend Chairman Young again and the staff of the Defense Subcommittee for its extraordinary work. This is the largest appropriations bill. It is essential to national security, And with that, I'll reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman reserves. Gentleman from Kentucky.
Mr. Chairman, I yield 3 minutes to the chairman of the Energy and Water Subcommittee on the committee, Mr. Frelinghuysen.
Gentleman from New Jersey is recognized for 3 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I want to thank the chairman for his support and leadership as we work through the appropriations process. This morning, I'm pleased to support this appropriations bill that keeps our government open for business, but also substantially reduces federal spending in almost every department. Special thanks to my ranking member and good friend, Pete Fiscal, for his hard work, his knowledge of our energy and water bill, and his passionate support for so many priorities. Our portion of the bill has an important national security component, so we increase funding for the safety and reliability of our nuclear deterrent, as well as for a new generation of naval reactors. While funding for the Department of Energy is below the President's request, we continue to assure that our nation has a diversity of energy supply and that nuclear energy will be a critical part of that future, and that important research and development will continue at our remarkable national laboratories. Additionally, our bill provides funds for the Army Corps of Engineers to protect public safety, keep America open for business, and to meet emergencies. Mr. Chairman, I'm pleased to support a bill that assures our national security, our safety, our economic security with less taxpayers' dollars, and I yield back.
Gentleman from Washington.
I yield 2 minutes to the distinguished gentleman from Indiana, the ranking member of the Energy and Water Subcommittee, Mr. Visclosky.
Gentleman from Indiana is recognized for 2 minutes.
I thank the gentleman for yielding and will have remarks for the record. There is great substance in this bill, but really want to address the process. And to begin my remarks by saying how very proud I am of the Appropriations Committee of the House of Representatives in the United States Senate of this Congress. The Appropriations Committee is composed of serious and intelligent people. Our members and our terrific staff, I was also on the staff at one time, work hard to invest in our country and to improve the lives of the people we represent. As Chairman Rogers indicated, our members do disagree, but they thoughtfully consider the facts, they consider each other's perspectives and positions and reach reasonable compromises that improve the government of the United States of America. This is how this entire body should conduct itself. And I especially want to thank Chairman Rogers and Mr. Dix and their staffs for leading the way. I also want to express my gratitude to Chairman Frelinghuysen, who is also my friend and a consummate gentleman, and our subcommittee members and our exceptional staff for their dedication and hard work in crafting a wonderful piece of legislation. The Agreement on Energy and Water provides $2.3 billion for nonproliferation activities, $30 million above last year's level, ensuring that our ability to counter the most serious threat confronting our national security, the threat of nuclear terrorism, is adequately funded. The agreement provides for renewable energy programs at level funding from last year, and the Science Council, critical to the competitiveness of our nation, is $46 million above last year. ARPA-E provides and drives innovation to support our scientific competitiveness. The Army Corps of Engineers is funded at $5 billion, a slight increase over last year's level, ensuring that some ongoing projects will not be terminated. But we must invest in our infrastructure, and while this bill does increase funding for Corps, we are not adequately investing in infrastructure, but I do urge support of the legislation.
Gentleman from Kentucky.
I yield 3 minutes to the chairman of the Homeland Security Subcommittee, Mr. Adho, Alabama.
Gentleman's recognized from Alabama is recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank the gentleman for yielding, and I ask for unanimous consent to revise and extend my remarks. Mr. Speaker, I rise in strong support of the conference report, and I want to thank Chairman Rogers, as well as Ranking Member Norman Dix, for their leadership and their commitment as we went back to regular order as we produced this agreement. We had a challenging negotiations with our colleagues from the other body, but I believe we have forged a disciplined agreement that puts a priority on limited spending and on true priorities like border security, immigration enforcement, disaster relief, while at the same time instilling robust fiscal discipline and oversight. This conference report provides a total of $39.6 billion in discretionary spending for the Department of Homeland Security. That is $4 billion below the President's request, 9.1%. It's $3 billion below the FY 2010, and it is $2 billion below last year. These are genuine reductions, not just budget gimmicks. While this contracted funding, frontline operations are made a priority as well, including funding and direction to ICE to maintain a daily detention bed capacity of 34,000 beds. That is the highest detention capacity in history. Also funding for the highest ever levels of staffing for Border Patrol agents, CBP officers, and ICE agents. This conference agreement also terminates 2 ineffectual offices at the Department of Homeland Security. It installs unprecedented oversight at FEMA, and it includes a statutory requirement for the Secretary of Homeland Security to enforce the immigration laws that are on the books. Finally, this conference agreement and the disaster bill that we are considering today fully funds FEMA disaster relief requirements for 2012. That means that all the devastated areas across the country will get what they need to get back on their feet. And this funding can be offset through reductions that will also be considered later this afternoon, which I support. Let me close again by thanking all those involved in this process on the Appropriations Committee. I'd like to thank Ben Nicholson with the majority and the staff, the majority staff, as well as Stephanie Gupta with the minority and her staff, and also to thank Senator Landrieu and Senator Coates and Ranking Member Price, of course, who was my partner in this process for his hard work as we work toward getting toward this reasonable agreement. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, or Mr. Speaker, and I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman from Washington.
I yield 2 minutes to the distinguished gentleman from North Carolina, the ranking member of the Homeland Security Subcommittee, Mr. Price.
Gentleman from North Carolina is recognized for 2 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I'm pleased that we're finally considering an omnibus appropriations bill for fiscal 2012 to fund critical federal agencies, including the Department of Homeland Security. After a year of lurching from one manufactured crisis to another, destabilizing the American economy and sending Congress's approval ratings to record lows, it's high time we restored some measure of regular order to this critical legislative function. And I applaud Chairman Rogers, Ranking Member Dix, my subcommittee chairman, Mr. Adderholt, for their commitment to restoring regular order and maintaining the pattern of bipartisan cooperation that distinguishes our committee even in today's hyper-partisan environment. I also want to thank our talented and dedicated staff for drafting and negotiating what was a very difficult package to put together. With respect to DHS, overall funding will drop for a second year in a row to $39.6 billion. But this drop is compensated for by the separate disaster relief bill we will be considering shortly. When these two measures are combined, FEMA will receive a total of $7.1 billion for disaster relief, ensuring that families and businesses affected by recent disasters will receive assistance vital to their recovery and rebuilding. Beyond disaster assistance, the reduced allocation meant that we had to make some tough decisions. I'm pleased that sufficient funding is provided in this bill for our frontline DHS employees to conduct critical operations along our borders, protect our nation's airports and seaports, and thwart cybersecurity attacks on our federal government. Other accounts, radically underfunded in the House bill, have been increased modestly in this omnibus bill, but nowhere near adequate levels. Research and development funding has been cut by 38% since 2010, undermining our investments in new technologies targeted specifically at Homeland Security threats. And state and local grants have been reduced by more than 50% from the 2010 level, requiring our states and communities to delay or abandon vital preparedness efforts. Mr. Chairman, may I have an additional 10 seconds?
Does the gentleman from Washington wish to yield an additional time?
10 seconds.
15 seconds.
Gentleman is recognized for additional 15 seconds.
These grant cuts will require states and communities to delay or abandon vital preparedness efforts. We simply have to do better next year. While this is an imperfect bill under the circumstances, we know it could have been much worse. It's the product of bicameral and bipartisan decisions about how best to allocate scarce resources to protect the American people. With that in mind, I urge colleagues to support this omnibus bill.
Gentleman's time has expired. Gentleman from Kentucky.
Mr. Speaker, I yield 3 minutes to the very distinguished chairman of the Financial Services Subcommittee on Appropriations, gentlelady from Missouri, Ms. Emerson.
Gentlelady from Missouri is recognized for 3 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I thank the chairman for yielding. I know he hasn't enjoyed an easy task, but he has done a tremendous job in bringing us to this point today, so thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I also want to express my appreciation to Ranking Member Serrano and Laura Hogshead on his staff. They have been terrific to work with, and even when we might not have agreed on something, we still had dialogue, and they were terrific. Our own staff on the subcommittee, very ably led by John Martens and Winnie, Kelly, Ariana, and Karen, have done a tremendous job. There are a lot of reasons to be happy about this bill and to vote for it from the perspective of the Financial Services Subcommittee. The bill reduces this portion of the President's budget request by $4.2 billion. Compared to 2010, discretionary funding in this bill is reduced by 11%. We're heeding the American people's call for limited, more transparent, more responsive federal government. The bill prohibits funds for certain White House czars, rescinds $25 million from a mandatory slush fund at the Securities and Exchange Commission, and dedicates much-needed resources for the counterterrorism activities at the Department of Treasury. The bill also provides funding for the Small Business Administration's Business Loan Program. Our small businesses are critical to our economy, and this program extends accessible and affordable credit to help them grow. As fortunate as I feel to have reached agreement with my colleagues in so many areas, I'm still startled and a bit dismayed by the White House's refusal to submit the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, an agency whose mission is to promote accountability and transparency in the financial industry, to the usual and customary transparency measures accorded to Congress and the American people. Provisions in the House's bill would have limited the budget of the Bureau and subjected the CFPB to annual congressional review. I'm really hard-pressed to understand why a $200 million limitation is not enough for a Bureau without a director, and why the centerpiece of the Dodd-Frank Act cannot withstand meaningful regular review by the Congress, which established it in the first place. The checks and balances envisioned by our founders apply to every other consumer-oriented agency in the executive branch of government. The CFPB ought to be treated no different from the Federal Trade Commission, the Securities and Exchange Commission, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, the Food and Drug Administration, and others in this important regard. I can promise that the CFPB will be revisited again and again by Congress. Leaving that subject, though, for another day, I do urge my colleagues to support the bill and the savings it contains on behalf of the American people, and yield back.
Gentleman from Washington.
I yield 2 minutes to the distinguished gentleman from New York, the ranking member of the Financial Services Subcommittee, Mr. Serrano.
Gentleman from New York is recognized for 2 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to thank Congressman Dix for yielding me time so that I can comment on the Financial Services and General Government section of this bill. I would also like to thank both him and Chairman Rogers for their hard work in bringing this bill to the floor. Please let me also express my appreciation to Chairwoman Emerson, who worked so well with me and our staff throughout this process. Unfortunately, because of the budget agreement and the allocation that was given to the subcommittee, there are significant cuts to many important agencies. However, this is a much better bill than what emerged from our committee markup, and we worked hard to provide sufficient funding in order to avoid layoffs of hardworking federal employees. I'm especially pleased that the health care repeal provisions and the many anti-Dodd-Frank provisions that were a part of the committee passed bill have not been included in this final conference agreement. I am, however, distressed that this agreement once again interferes in the local affairs of the District of Columbia. Although D.C. will be able to continue to use its own local funds for syringe exchange programs, this conference report prohibits them from using their own local funds for abortion services, a restriction that no other American city has dictated to it by the federal government. Finally, I am pleased that the provision reinstating the harsh Bush-era restrictions on Cuban-American travel to Cuba and limitations on remittances was dropped from the conference report. Had this provision stayed in the bill, there would have been an immediate shutdown of family travel to Cuba, which would have been particularly difficult just days before the holiday season. Before I conclude, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Majority and Minority Subcommittee staff for all of their hard work and to acknowledge the efforts of my own personal staff. Mr. Speaker, within the strict budgetary limitations that were given the committee and this section, an improved version, I am in favor of the bill, and I would ask my colleagues to vote for it.